5 minutes, something like that.
It's Friday Night Pint, and we are live for another edition, another great show. Lots to talk about. Some great stuff, some not so great stuff. West Ham are apparently worried about the potential lifetime ban that the FA are pushing for Lucas Paqueta, with some new details in the case and how it's unfolding, how it's going to be tried to come out. So we're going to get into all of that stuff. But on some positive news, we'll talk about the season ticket price freezes and the concessions coming back. And also, it is a very special someone's birthday coming up. So we have, to celebrate that great man, a very special feature, a bit of fun coming up as well to have a bit of a laugh. So, lads, Friday night, right, Nick? Cheers, lads.
I've got a pint. It's not water.
What is that? Is that vodka?
It's not a pint of vodka. It's got lemonade in it, I promise.
I'm on water because I'm out tomorrow, and I didn't have time to go to the shop to get some beers, so I'm on the water tonight. So apologies.
That was me last Friday when you and Scott had a beer, so I'll let you off.
And I've gone for the Graham Potter look tonight with the drill top.
Was it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Is it the new drill top?
Yeah, I've had it since the beginning of the season, mate. I just obviously ain't been on, so I just wear it.
Can I just say something about that Graham Potter? I'm a little bit offended, right? When he went to Chelsea, he fucking scrubbed up well, wore his suit, his turtleneck, tried to look sharp. He's come to West Ham, he's like, fuck yeah, stick the tracksuit back on. Like what? We're not suit material, you know? We're not suitable for that.
You know what it is? He has to run backwards and forwards to the dugout. You'd be sweated if you do that too many times.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But yeah, getting straight into it. Look, this Paqueta news has been dragging on for years now, and it seems to be like it's going to be tried this month. Over 3 weeks, the case is going to drag out, which is going to affect his ability to play for us. I haven't looked as if he's even going to be available, but even if he is, he's going to be distracted. I can't see him playing. But it's being reported now that the FA are pushing for a lifetime ban, and West Ham inside sources, according to the Mail, are concerned and feel like the odds are stacked against them because the burden of proof is on probability, not on actual evidence, which means they only have to prove that he probably did it. If they can show that, yeah, he probably did commit those without actually showing proof that he did it, that's enough for a conviction, which I think is, I think he's having a hard time there. Sorry, I think it's outrageous to convict anyone on the basis of they probably did it. We're talking about taking a man's livelihood, his career away with probably. Yeah, we can see that, there's some bits there. Yeah, we can't prove he actually did it, but he probably did it. That's outrageous. And if this does get tried, I can see him appealing that because the FA just seems to want his head. They're out for blood, and I'm sorry, in a court of law, it doesn't matter what you did. If there's no hard evidence that you did it, you should not be tried on probably. I don't know what you guys think.
I totally agree, mate. And reading the team news today, Paqueta should be in the squad for Monday, and if he's not guilty, then he should just get on and play football and just do what he's good at doing. I agree with you, though, mate. I think it's a shambles the way, and it looks like they're trying to make a mark because they can't ever tie it down like a. They've tried to do it for years, and they've seen it now that Paqueta has obviously been involved. And like I said, unless you're proven guilty in a court of law and they've got evidence, then they can't say, "Oh, we think he's done it" or whatever. It's it'd be gutting, not only for us as fans to lose someone like him, but for him, someone that's worked all his life to become a pro footballer, to play in the Premier League, Brazilian national, and it gets taken away from you like that, to never be able to play football again.
Yeah, and look at some of the stuff people have done in the game, like racism, violent conduct, all sorts of stuff like that.
You've got referees refereeing top flight games that have been caught cheating before and have come back and still had a career. To do that on the case of probability is, I think that's astounding, to be honest with you. It opens the doors to all sorts of like legal ramifications. I I've even heard like stories that if he gets found guilty, that there's teams that he's scored against or influenced the result, and they could like start legal proceedings. I mean, it's just a mess, isn't it? Like, unless you've got hard proof, then they've had long enough now to find some proof. They've obviously been seeing what's going on in the. I mean, he hasn't been arrested. It's a criminal charge, so he hasn't been arrested. So I think it's atrocious, to be honest with you. When you see like things that other people have got away with hard evidence and stuff like that. You look at that. The Chelsea, the women's footballer recently, she got off with racism, and she was caught on film. She'll have a career. She'll still carry on playing. So to say, well, we think he did, and we think he got booking on, but I don't see how you can do that. But why has it taken this long? Like they've had his phone, and they gave him his phone back. Then they wanted the phone back. If you haven't got evidence in the first chance that you've got, and you've got everything in front of you, then there's nothing. You've got to have evidence. If you're going to convict someone or accuse someone of something, you've got to have the evidence. It's ridiculous.
It don't feel like they have got the evidence either. That's the thing, and the thing is with this balance of probabilities, it just needs to be 51%. 51% probability that he did it, and they get their conviction, which is as close to 50-50 as you can get. That's absolutely astounding that they can just that small of a margin, not like, okay, the threshold has to be like 90%, 51%, and you can get your charge. The FA, what their statement was, it's alleged that he directly sought to influence the progress, conduct, or any other aspect of or occurrences in these matches by intentionally seeking to receive a card from the referee for the improper purpose of affecting the betting market in order for one of the persons to benefit from betting. So what they've got, let's look at the probabilities they've got. They've got, I think, proof that there was bets made from Paqueta Island, from his hometown. I think some sort of, maybe even bets from family. They've got the yellow cards. Now, if you look at the yellow cards, all you can do is look at that and go, well, that's a reckless yellow card. He looks like he did that on purpose. That's all you do. And if you look at most yellow cards, there are some every week I see one where it looks like they've done it on purpose because you think that's a rash challenge. And, those are the sort of main things that he's got. They've got the games, and then his family. They've got no communication because they've had his phone. I don't believe they've got text messages where he's saying, I'm going to put a bet on and I'm going to do it. So that's all they're going to go from. They're going to look at the games and say, well, the bets were made from people that he knew. Does it look like he actually did it on purpose? Which is astounding. We've seen tackles, right? And you think, wow, what a stupid challenge. Why has he done that? Why has he got booked?
But you see that all of the time. They've just had a referee, David Coote, that it looked like when they said about the text messages that he booked a Leeds player on purpose, it looked like blatant, and they couldn't prove it. So like they've had to let it go. So
yeah,
listen, when you put it all together, like some of it looks dodgy. Don't get me wrong, some of it looks dodgy, but like a lot of it doesn't make sense. The amount of money that doesn't make sense. Like, why would a man that is in that sort of position in his life and his career put a career at risk for such little gain? The money that they won, he could have given it to him in a month.
Like, it was something like $4,000, wasn't it, or something?
And when they looked at, I think it was like 4 yellow cards, and one of them, look, a couple of them do look dodgy, but he's that type of player. He's a passionate, a Brazilian. He's got that in him to sort of like snap at any time. And one of the yellow cards that they looked at, it come in like the 92nd minute. And when you look at it like rationally, you think, well, why would, if he was like out to get booked on purpose, why would he wait till the 92nd minute? He could have been subbed, he could have got injured. Like, he's not going to wait that long to do it. He's going to do it at the most convenient time, like a time where you can pretty much guarantee. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Like, no. And look, it can look dodgy, but there's no hard evidence unless they've got something in writing, in like, something blatant to threaten a man like this and to affect his career for this long and to drag it in for so long. I think it's disgusting. I'll be honest with you. I think it's disgusting.
And the problem is when you're looking at those challenges through the lens of I think there's a chance that he's done this on purpose. It's going to look worse to you. You're going to see what you want to see. If you're looking at it without that context, we all watched it. No one at the time when he made those challenges said, "Oh bloody hell, he's got booked on purpose." There, that no one batted an eyelid. So it's only now that they're getting this evidence of what Betway have flagged. Oh, the bet's there, and it was on these games. They're looking at it, and if you believe that he did that on purpose, you can convince yourself. You can look at that and go, yeah, that looks reckless, rash.
Yeah,
like you said.
That's like when referees look at VAR in slow motion, they convince themselves that it's a foul.
Yeah, they go to the monitor, didn't they? And they
we
look
see so many stupid late tackles, and like you could probably look at every time you see a yellow card now, you're thinking, is he having a bet? Because we see so many stupid challenges. But yeah, no, I agree with both what you said. I think it's ridiculous, and I feel sorry for him because you look at some of the players that have done stuff. Mason Greenwood still playing football. Partey still playing football. They've been accused of a lot worse. Footballers have addictions with gambling. We know that. Matty Everton went through it, and he's very open about it because they get so much money and they get bored, and it's like they think, well, we can gamble, we can do things. They want to help people out. But look, he's innocent till proven guilty. Until that judge says you're guilty, then there's no. It's just a shame. It's a shame as a football club we're going to lose out on a 65 million, 70 million pound player. A talent on his day who's been brilliant for us. Not been so great this season, but it might be because he's had this hanging over his head.
And he's looked better under Potter. And the thing is, right, when you say innocent till proven guilty, even if they say guilty, he hasn't been proven to be guilty because they're saying he's probably guilty, which is the same as like the court of public opinion. Like, he's probably done it.
That's like the police pulling me over tomorrow and saying we're nicking you because you probably might run someone over in a little while. No, fuck, they know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, you probably, exactly. You can't send people down.
We're going to bang you up because we think you might commit a crime in 5 years' time. So we're just going to lock you up just in case.
Yeah.
When you look at there's a couple of players that have lost their careers through false accusations, and they've sort of punished them before they was feeling guilty. I've got no opinion on them. I don't really know. But you look at that Ched Evans that was playing for Sheffield United at the time. I don't think he got back to his career after he got accused of something. And then the Mendy that played for Man City, he got found not guilty on all charges, didn't he? But he's not playing sort of top flight football again. So I think sometimes they're a bit reckless in the way they approach these, the way. But then you look at the other side. Adam Johnson carried on playing football. Why he was going through the trials. So yeah, you have to have a balance. And I've always said, look, West Ham player or not, if he's guilty of doing those things, then throw the book at him. But you have to be able to prove it. You have to be able to prove it. Like accusing someone based on that's what we think is not. Is not a viable way of charging someone. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, whatever happens at the end of the day, he's going to be. There's going to be appeals. There's going to be this. There's going to be that. And let's be honest, if it hadn't happened and he didn't get accused of it, he'd be playing for Manchester City now. So he could feel, a little bit aggrieved by it. So. Yeah, they've hampered his career, whatever happens now. So, I think it's
if we manage to win, if he manages to win, there has to be legal action. We with Paqueta have to help him go after the FA with full force because what they've cost that man, the mental anguish, affecting him on the pitch for us, affecting a big money move to Manchester City, affecting us getting 85 million for him. This has had a massive impact on so many players. So if he manages to win the case, we have to push it.
Since it all come out, he's not been the same.
No,
not been the same.
And he's had to go back and forth to Brazil and take trips to Brazil and deal with their FA and all of that. And now spending 3 weeks in court, for this, all again for probabilities. So it's the cost, like Matt says, cost us with the performances because he hasn't been, like you said, he hasn't been the same player. So it cost us points, cost us millions of pounds in table positions, all of that. So we have to be able to counter, them and go at them and try and sue them to get damages and sue for damages. So hopefully he wins and we do that. I can't stand the FA. I think they're corrupt. I think, their track record isn't great. And
I think
I would love
the whole of football is, it's getting worse and worse. That's the problem. When football's become a business. There's lots of things that affect businesses, and there's going to be so many court cases. And the bigger the money gets, the more complicated and complex it's going to get in a law way. As I said, the police haven't charged him. He has been seen as no sort of criminal charges, so there's no evidence to arrest him. So I can't see where they've got the evidence to charge him for corruption. I just don't see it. And if he is, why is there not a way back for him? Why is it a lifetime ban when you've got referees that can influence games with ease, still refereeing top flight games?
Yeah, which was the ref? Which ref was it that's still reffing after having a bet?
On the Borussia Dortmund game. You remember Bellingham said it. He said there's a couple of them.
It's not even that, mate. Ivan Toney was caught doing betting, and he got an 8-month ban or whatever it was, and he's back playing football now. So and he's out earning more money than what he was doing when he was playing for Brentford. So he's been rewarded with a move. That's
the problem. I think the only difference is with Tonali and what's his name, flipping Tony, is both of them weren't betting on games they played in. I think that was
he wasn't betting. That's the thing. He wasn't betting.
Exactly. So really, he didn't put the bets on. So again, they're just going on like, people in his country, his local town, betted on games that he got yellow cards in. And I think that go on.
I was going to say, if Paqueta turns up to court and they've got him on CCTV footage in Ladbroke smiling as he's putting bets on, then there's not much we can do. But I feel sorry for him in a way.
It's those bastards you're wearing on your top there, right? Betway, fucking grasses, started all this bloody trouble. But yeah, I think a big key part in their defense is probably what Nicky said about, the timing of the yellow card, and the light and the variables of that could have happened for that yellow card not to happen. Like you said, getting subbed, getting injured, anything like that.
Yeah, there's no guarantee that he's going to still be there to get the yellow card at that time. If he's been on for 90 minutes, why would you wait to the 90th minute to do it? Because there's so many things that could happen before that 90 minutes comes up. Yeah, it's for me, I don't think they've got anything. But it's obviously like worries and all that. And if he's got a lifetime ban, it's going to have a huge effect on us. It's going to affect budgets. It's going to affect, we have to replace him, the quality of the squad. So, listen, this might be over. They reckon it's the longest one ever. It's going to be 3 weeks, a hearing for 3 weeks. But it ain't going to be 3 weeks. This is going to drag on and on and on, no matter what happens. So,
but it's so annoying that they've spent all this time and they still haven't got evidence that he's actually done it. They're still going on trying to prove a probability when they've been doing it for years. They've had his phone, everything. They still haven't got undeniable proof.
The problem is with the FA, so they're so inconsistent. They will pursue things for some, and they will let things go for others. I think it was Manuel Lanzini. I think a couple of years. I mean, we'll talk about. I wanted to talk about the Millwall game that happened at the weekend tonight, anyway. But that guy's just got a 6-month ban. Lanzini, I think, has been the only player for, I don't remember one since, that got banned for simulation. And there
was one player for Everton as well that season. It was him and an Everton player. No one else done it. That retrospective ban.
A 2-game ban for simulation. You see Salah. You see all sorts of players for the top clubs.
Was doing it.
Kane was one for it. Dele Alli was one for it. Diving around, and none of them ever got charged. But that's the problem. I think they make a rod for their own back. They make rules up as they go along. They're getting mugged off a little bit with this FFP, because now they're changing the rules again. So it sort of loosens the rules for the bigger club. It's just they just make it up as they go along. I just think they need some money sometimes, and I just think they need something to do, because they can't justify their salaries. They're just honestly, I think the people in charge are a waste of time. A waste of time.
Yeah, incompetent. Josiah with a £5 super chat. Thank you very much, Josiah. He says, my other account is suspended. My new handle is at Josiah Moth. Now, me and Ryan have followed Josiah back. Nikki,
Yes,
you've been.
Yes, I have. He asked me and I did it.
Finally followed Josiah. There you go, Josiah. So thank you very much for super chat, mate. Hope you're very well and hope you get your new account back up and to where it wants to be. Should we take some other comments?
Yeah. I did see a very interesting one that I wanted to. I did highlight it, so it'll come up eventually. But
yeah,
I wanted to
Cowboys and Indian, the footballing show says. Anyhow, where's the club standing this? Are they supporting Pac-Man or are they throwing him to the wolves? I believe they're supporting him. I mean, they helped him get the lawyer, this top lawyer in.
They're supporting him by still playing him. So,
well, yeah,
you know, and he's got the full support of the club.
Yeah, they've been giving him moral support, obviously support in terms of this case. So they're sticking right by him, I believe, which is good. Frankie James says, I wonder if he's been picking up more yellow cards this season to make it seem more genuine. Yes, don't make it so obvious, right? I'll just pick up I always get yellows. It's normal. I haven't seen how many.
He should have just chucked a couple of reds in there as well, just to even it out a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
A couple of dodgy penalties given away.
This one you've highlighted. I don't know if there's other contacts. Why would people say such shit? Evening, Leslie. Hope things are good on your end, mate. Evening, Leslie. What is that in relation to? I think you've highlighted this as a reply. Rich's reply to someone else in the chat.
I think I've highlighted that by mistake.
Well, shout out to Rich. Kimbo says, I've heard that he can appeal if found guilty, then appeal again if still found guilty. Goes to a bigger court where evidence has to be stronger. So their 3 years gets wrapped up in appeals. Yeah. I think that's right, and it is appeal. Like if it is based on a probability, then you damn right they're going to appeal, and it's appealable. So this is
they always go to these. You see, like big decisions. Man City, when they got chucked out the Champions League, they went to some like European Court of Arbitration, and very, very rarely, when you see like an appeal, very rarely does it foul. Very rarely. You got to think, how old is he now? He's 27. If this goes on for 3 years, like he could be 30 by the time. That means all of his sort of like his chance to get a big. I mean, when was this? Like, was it the beginning of this season or beginning of last season that it got highlighted? I think it was last season, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was the season before last. It was in the summer, wasn't it? It was in the August.
So he would have been 25 then. This has taken 2 years. It's cost him a big move. Let's be honest. Like, take your West Ham hat off. He would have been playing for Manchester City. They would have bought him. And that was the reason they didn't buy him. But somebody did come up with a comment, and it will come up soon, saying, do you think he will stay with us now for the rest of his career for supporting him? I think, that was one of the
things. Not here. It's not there.
Somebody did say that. Do you think he will stay here because we've supported him?
I think
if Sullivan's paid anything towards the lawyers, he'd want to get his money back as soon as possible, so he'd probably flog him. No, I don't think he's that loyal to stay with us. You know, if he gets found not guilty, I could see him maybe staying for 1 or maybe 2 more seasons, but then he'll be at the club. I can't see him staying here for the rest of his career. I just don't get that vibe from him.
I think there will be an element of gratitude and loyalty, maybe not to like the highest of levels, but to the fact of that he's not going to push for a move. He's not going to down tools. He's not going to cause a fuss. If one of these moves come in for him, he may express that he would like to take that move, but I think he'll be loyal enough and he'll be grateful enough to appreciate and not cause a fuss if we say, listen, we need you this season. Do you know what I mean? Like, so we need to keep you. But whether he'll stay on his terms is another question, because like Rice said, Sullivan may look to try and get that big payoff. And
he is an asset. He is an asset, and like the club. Listen, as much as you think the club are being loyal to him, they're protecting their asset. They if he was a youth player, would they be backing him the same way? Probably not. You got to be blatantly honest. As I said, these things are businesses. It affects business. If he's a major asset, which we've made a major investment in, and if he's found guilty and banned for life, and we lose that amount of money, You know, the club are going to be pissed off in a business sense, right? So, listen, if he gets found not guilty, would they just sell him straight away just in case anything else come up? I don't know. You know, it's. I don't think he will be pushing for a move, but nobody's going to be at a football club forever these days. Let's be honest. The days of Mark Nobles and clubs, club men for life are well over. Especially someone that's come from, and he's a top player. He is a top player, but I think it's a decision that they'll both make, but I can't see him staying. I can't.
Steve WHU Bell for a super chat. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate you, my friend. Says, let's hope they don't look at Alvarez's yellow cards. Yeah, I mean, some of them we talk about reckless yellow cards. Some of them you could look at, couldn't you? That's
yellow cards. You want to go back to John Moncur days, mate. If they looked at some of them, I think they'd be investigating it.
Speaking of John Moncur, do you remember that famous incident when we played Man United last game of the season and he kicked the ball out straight from kickoff? There was talks about that.
I think that Peterson, right?
Yeah, whoever it was kicked it out of the play straight away, and they reckon that was like to do with a betting syndicate. Look when the floodlights used to go out. It's been happening for years. Like, I mean, we had obviously Harry Redknapp as manager, and we all know the stories about him. So it goes on in football. So look, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But if Man City can get away with what they've got, then Paqueta should be all right.
Yeah. Perez Taylor for a super chat. Nice meeting you in Nicky in Tesco the other week on Barking Road.
Oh yeah, it was lovely to meet you. That was after we'd done the Dixie night at the bowling.
There you go. So thank you very much, mate. And God, it was a pleasant encounter. Referees need to be looked at. Yeah. Smaller clubs get a punishment put on them because they don't have funds like Nicky, like City, to waste on shit hot lawyers. Says Scott. Racism, sex offenders can carry on, but gamblers must be banned for the sport that has gambling sponsorships all over it as well.
I do think they get their priorities wrong sometimes. I do think that they, the balance of what they punish is. And look, listen, I don't think any of it's good. I'm not excusing any of it. If you're caught cheating through like fixing games, I think you should be banned. But when you see what other people are getting up and clubs, and even clubs, even chairmen of clubs, what they're getting away with. Like, I do think that they, they're too unbalanced in the punishments that they give out.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Cross Hammers, making weight for charges. Look at Man City. You highlight this, Nick, so you probably knows what Nick means here.
So he said making. So I said he's been making us wait for the charges for a year and a half. Look at Man City; they've been waiting for like 2 years. That's what he's saying.
But the thing is, because this is why things drag out. So people always said, like with the Man City case, well, look at Everton. Like, they just got their points deducted. What about Man City? Because Everton pled guilty. Man City have not cooperated. Yeah, they're fighting it. They've not handed over stuff, everything. And it's the same, like when you're fighting it, it takes longer to put the case together. When it's like, I'm guilty, that's open and shut as it comes. So this is how most cases and legal stuff go. They do drag on. Even criminal cases as well. Peter Jones says, because the bookmakers never done their own work on these yellow cards prior to West Ham, they are now crying their eyes out. Leslie Neal Barden says they have found all the evidence with Uncle and Ringmaster and Link to player in Spain, have not found anything linking Lucas.
I have heard about this. So the player I can't remember his name, but the player in question was playing for Betis. So he was getting booked. They found a link between them, like a financial link between the uncle and him. Yeah. And he went back to Brazil. Yeah. And apparently he had a really good season, and he got back into the sort of Brazil national team. And then as soon as these criminal charges have come up, because they found a link, he's run off to Russia where they can't sort of what is it, extradite him? Is that what the word is?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it looks very suspicious. But obviously, like they can't find anything linking Lucas to the same thing. But it's all linked in this like that's the whole thing's like is what they call like a syndicate thing. It's all meant to be together. But yeah, they have found links with the other player, and it looks with him running off to Russia where he can't be extradited for criminal charge. It does look dodgy, but that's not proof.
Yeah. But if there's no link to Paqueta, they haven't found the link, so they're saying it's another player, it's the uncle. That's circumstantial, right?
Yeah,
circumstantial.
Circumstantial, yeah, that's the word.
Yeah. There's Gaza says also the FA coming out saying he needs to be banned for life. How can they say that when they ain't started anything yet? The case, yeah, they want him. They want that high profile thing on their head that we've got this big victory, So
I do think they're trying to make a sort of an example of him, but there we go.
I don't think we will lose him. We will lose on him as it will end up in European court. I do hope Paqueta is innocent, otherwise his career is truly over. But if he is innocent, then the FA are going to get sued by West Ham for 85 million, and Paqueta will sue for loss of earnings. Oh, that'd be nice. Imagine we get 85 million and we keep Paqueta. We get 85.
That's what happened to Newcastle when Owen got injured for England. They got all their money back, their transfer fee back.
Yeah. What did we get for Ashton? Did we get us anything for that? Compensation?
No, because he came back. We got told that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Let's take one more comment and we'll move on.
Yeah. If he does get found innocent, do you think? Oh, yeah, that was the one you was talking about.
That was right. There we go.
How can they find him guilty? They have got to prove he done it deliberately. The FA would not be pushing for a lifetime ban if he played for one of the big six. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the rules of this court. There we go.
Let's go on. Before we start discussing the season tickets, let's discuss this little feature that we've got in the middle here. So it is Ryan's birthday coming up. Happy birthday, Ryan. And I stole an idea off of Jack, mate, on Twitter. So his birthday was today, I believe. And he asked about a five-a-side team. What would your five-a-side team be with people that were born on your birthday? So we've all had, I put it in the group chat. I said, let's have a go at this tonight. So maybe you can go and find out what's on your birthday and start putting it in the comments down below. But we've all come up with our five-a-side team. Now,
type in famous birthdays, type in your birthday.
They don't necessarily have to be footballers because it is very difficult to find footballers that are born on your birthday. But so we've all had a go. So it's famous people that share your birthday that will make up your best five-side team. We'll show you what we've picked, and you can have a little go at the end of the show of picking who you think would win the tournament if it was a tournament, and then give us your one. So, Ryan, since it's your birthday, do you want to go first or do you want to go last?
Go on. I'll go last. I'll let you show me your team first.
All right, let's show you Scott's team because he's not here.
My birthday's Monday, by the way, but I really appreciate all the happy birthdays.
Yeah, so
everyone thinks it's my birthday today and tomorrow because I'm going out tomorrow. But yeah, it's Monday when we're going to beat the Geordies.
Do you know what? I watched your podcast on with Nick Clout and Booze the other day, and I see in the comments, right, someone said, "Oh, happy birthday, right?" And I was like, "Shit!" Like I watched it at night. I was like, "If I missed it," and I checked your Facebook page, and it was like, "Oh no, it's not today." So
right, so we'll show Scott's first. We did ask him to explain why he's picked these people, but he didn't really explain because there are a few people you can pick. But he's picked Timbaland, the singer. I believe that's Robin Thicke.
No, that's my one, Nick. We'll start with my one.
All right, we'll start with
Ryan's one.
I thought that was Scott's one. So right, go on. Explain why you've picked who you've picked.
Well, these are the only people that I really knew. All the rest of them were like TikTokers and Instagram. So yeah, Timbaland in goal because he'll take up most of the goal. Robin Thicke at the back because listen, if they're offside, he can play his blurred lines. Hey, Sharon Stone in the middle. Well, she might have her legs open a bit too much, so the ball might go through. Samuel Eto'o up front, no reason now. One of the greatest strikers to play football, and then obviously the man in the middle running it, Chuck Norris. And look, we all know Chuck Norris is the hardest man that's ever lived, and no one gets better than Chuck Norris. So Chuck Norris can be captain, player, manager. He can do what he wants.
I heard the draft was invented when Chuck Norris uppercutted an horse.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
No. Yeah, Chuck Norris don't do push-ups. He pushes the ground down.
Right,
that is pretty unbeatable, Chuck Norris in that side.
Yeah, that's a solid midfield there.
Can I just say that there was one more, and I thought it would be too controversial to have him. It was Prince Andrew. We all know he can't play football because he doesn't sweat, so he won't be putting in much effort. So yeah, Prince Andrew didn't make the squad.
Yeah, among other reasons.
Right, should we have a look at Scott's, or do you want to go to yours, Dan, or mine?
Yeah, let's go Scott's. Let's get Scott's out of the way.
Right. So Scott's picked Dean Kane, which is Superman, I believe.
Yeah, which is the lowest in club.
He's got J.K. Rowling. Right, this is where it gets a bit fucking dodgy, I think. Titus Bramble is picked. I can think of a lot of people that could play in defence rather than Titus Bramble. He's got Wesley Snipes as Blade, which I do respect. That's
a great tough man.
And Paolo Wanchop.
Can I just say that Scott's team should be void because there's 6 players on the pitch?
No, she's just covering. Right, so what do you think of that? So who wins that one, do you think?
Well, J.K. Rowling got the Potter links, so...
Yeah. And Nicky, Scott's got 2 footballers on his. I feel like it's kind of cheating as much as... you
can't call Titus Bramble a footballer.
To be fair, I've got 2 footballers as well. Maybe there should have been rules about 1 footballer. Should we have a look at mine?
Yeah, go on then.
Right, so I've got Miranda Hart in goal.
Oh my god,
this geezer here is the most. I only recognise his name because my son used to watch it. Laserbing, which is he's a streamer.
I thought he was going to say Lazy Eye.
Yeah, he looks like he's got a lazy eye, to be honest.
Laserbing.
I've got King George VI, which is like a little wild card there. Michael Owen and Rafinha.
That's bollocks. How'd you get them two?
Because they was born on the same day as me. That's how I got them two.
That's fucking out of order.
Take it out with their parents. That's what I'm
saying. Come on. But
later,
I
know what's coming up with yours. I think yours is the weakest, if I'm honest. But
yeah, I weren't buzzing with mine. But you know what? I do feel like you're cheating if you got footballers in. I do think that's a cheat.
It's the word. How's it cheating?
Yeah, I mean, it's what do they call it? They got ringers in. You got ringers. That's what they are. They're ringers. Let's see.
So let's have a look at. Go on. Shall I get your one up? Where is it? There we go.
Yeah, got it. All right. Boris Johnson, who has played football before. He was doing a lot of rugby tackles, but I don't want him to get sent off, so I've kept him in goal. He shouldn't have to do many tackles if he's just a big lump in goal. Paul Dano, who I only know from The Batman, where he played the Riddler. Zoe Zaldana, who was in Guardians of the Galaxy, Gamora. She was in Avatar as well as the Blue Woman. Bloody KSI. I know I was scraping the barrel here, but he does play football, doesn't he? Like he plays on his Sidemen charity games.
To be fair, Dan, I think you say you're scraping the barrel, man. I think he's more well known than most of them people on there.
I know, but I was like Ryan. I had a lot of YouTubers and TikTok stars and streamers. And obviously Paula Abdul. Now Nicky's done the formation and he's gone for Paula Abdul up top with KSI. Very interesting. She is in her 60s, but maybe we're talking prime Paula Abdul. So better.
Yeah,
she's in the box in the box. So KSI's doing the leg work.
Yeah, so have a look. I think what was the website that we used? Was it famousbirthdays.com, wasn't it? So go and have a look. See, type your birthday and you get a team. Put your teams in, and we'll
let us know the winning team, the best team and the worst team.
Yeah,
best team and worst team in out of the 4 of us. Let us know in the comments.
There we go. I'm trying to get
That
this.
was a tough. That was a tough.
Who do you think wins? I'll be honest. I think, in terms of star power, I think Ryan's wins it.
Yeah. Like, do you know what? Ryan don't have any ringers in his team, so I would go with Ryan.
He's got Eto. He's got Eto.
That's it. Oh, is he? Oh, right. I didn't see that. Well, he's got less ringers than you and Scott.
Yeah. Scott's got Superman, Harry Potter. He gets let down by Titus Bramble, and I just think I've got Miranda Hart in goal because I'm thinking to myself, like, she's a giant, isn't she? You just lay her down in front of the goal, nothing's getting by.
But she's really unfunny, though. That's the problem.
Well, she's not telling jokes; she's getting goal.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about star power and quality of person. The quality of the person you've got in your team, and she's just not very good at her job. So, Norris doesn't win; everyone else is in second. There you go.
He automatically wins. There we go. Yeah, so get your teams in. What's the next section that we got? We're talking about the season tickets. There was controversy this week, or when they announced a new sort of enticement to renew your season tickets. They want your season ticket renewed before the 31st of March, and you get some benefits. Now, the benefits are, if I can remember off the top of my head, because I haven't got it on top of me. So if you renew your season ticket by the 31st of March, you get 3 loyalty points to start off with. You then get the chance to bypass the waiting list, which is going to be the controversial thing, and buy an extra 2 season tickets. And you get a chance to relocate. I think you get an exclusive relocation window in June. Now, I rung up the ticket office and I asked them what the details were that. Can you add, because they have brought back the concessions, which we will talk about as well. Can you add a child's ticket to your ticket? And the answer was yes. And can you downgrade bands? Because the last time I asked them about that, when I wanted to get my son a season ticket, they said absolutely not. You can't. You can only go up bands and not down bands. But apparently, if you renew before the 31st of March, you will get a chance to downgrade bands, and it will be issued back as a refund, not club cash, as a refund in June. So is it fair? Is it fair that you've got people waiting on a waiting list for 5 years? And apparently, just because someone else pays a season ticket before the 31st of March, you can, you can skip that waiting list. Now, why are they doing it, first of all? And is it fair? There we go. Discussed.
Well, it's not fair at all, because I think one of you lads, it might have been Scott, pointed it out, that people pay money to be on that waiting list. And some people, apparently they've been on this waiting list for years, which I'm very suspicious of the waiting list to start with. But they're obviously doing it to get in all that money. They want people to renew as early as possible. So they've got that money committed. They know what they've got. I know what's in.
I think if you renew before the 31st of March, don't forget the tax year finishes on April the 6th. Is it something to do with sort of like boosting their finances to, I don't know, get a bigger loan, put more money? Who knows? What is it?
That's probably something to do with it. But regardless of that, they've always wanted the season ticket renewals, people to renew as early as possible anyway. That, like you said, that will definitely be an incentive, the end of the financial year. But yeah, they just want people's money, and they've always brought it back. Every year it feels like they've brought the deadline further and further forward. So now they're trying to do this incentive where people can move around and go anywhere as they please, and it's going to make a bit of a mess of things, I think. But it is a shame. Like, if people have been waiting for season tickets, I don't know how much I believe the waiting list, because we've lost 20. We done it on the other week on Friday Pint. We've lost 29,000 season ticket holders since we moved to this stadium. And what did Karen Brady say the waiting list was like in the early days? She said it was like,
it was 40,000, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So how big is the waiting list now? But yeah, I don't quite understand it personally. Like, it's a bit of a mess. I know what you think, right? In terms of, like, if say you jumped on that, if you wanted to get a season ticket again, you're on a waiting list, and then it's kind of like the mess they made of it when we first moved to the stadium. Do you remember, like, season ticket holders we could go and just get 20 people with us, which a lot of us did. We bring a load of people.
I don't know if there is a waiting list. I know someone said there they've been waiting 5 years, which I've known people to rig up the ticket office who ain't even on the waiting list and get a season ticket. I've known people that have done that of away season tickets. I got a phone call 2 weeks ago from the club offering me a season ticket, so I didn't even apply for it. So yeah, it's I don't believe that there's a waiting list, and as you said, so many people who how many season ticket holders we have lost over the years. I mean, what would this be? Our 8th season at the London Stadium now, 7th or 8th season. We moved there in 2016.
Ninth year.
Yeah,
we're going into our 9th season. Yeah,
9th season. So yeah, it's a bit embarrassing. I understand people, might have done the first few seasons and just didn't like it, so they've not renewed. But whoever don't renew, they're going to get replaced anyway with people buying tickets and like the day trippers. What used the club love? They love all that. And that's the way.
And the neutral fans, right? Don't forget the neutral fans.
Yeah, the neutral fans, away fans that seem to get priority and get into our stadium and walk about with their shirt on, and nothing gets said. So I mean,
like there's a opportunity because when we first went to the stadium, if you remember correctly, you could what was it? You could bring 2 people with you, right? Couldn't you? So everyone that come from Upton Park who was going into that thing, you could bring 2 new people along, and that seemed to have caused a lot of issues in terms of like, people, because they was cheap. They was quite cheap when we first went there. And to be fair, I'm going to give them their due. They're still quite cheap, but that was a commitment they made. They're creeping up, but they are frozen for this year. And then they took away the concessions last year, which they've had to bring back. But it caused a lot of issues because there was a lot of people that were sort of scattered around. Nobody really knew the layout of the stadium. Nobody really knew where the singing sections were going to be. Nobody knew where, and it was all broken up by, people that were bringing people that didn't really want to go to West Ham. They was fans of other. We've seen it, to be honest, if I'm going to be totally honest with you, it got me off of a ban, highlighting that sort of thing.
I know a Tottenham fan who's got a season ticket at Tottenham and a season ticket at West Ham because his nephew supports West Ham.
We know an Arsenal fan, didn't we? The big lad who stands near fan cams with the glasses. He's got a season ticket at Arsenal and a season ticket at West Ham. Yeah. But because they were so cheap and because it's, access to Premier League football, it caused a lot of issues and it caused a lot of damage to the atmosphere. They've sort of sorted that out over the years. They've slowly rectified it year by year. Is this going to just cause the same issue over again? Is it going to be the same thing over again? Or do you think people know the layout of the stadium enough and they know the sort of type of people that are going to want to buy tickets in them sections? Yeah, you'd hope that the people, if you're in the family section, right, if you're like one of the ones sitting down, you've got your kids with you, you should by now know not to move down near the front, say where my section is, and standing up and everyone's standing up singing. Like, you should have enough common sense. And if you're down that section and you like to stand up and sing, you probably know not to go and move up where everyone's sitting down if you don't want to do that. And so you'd hope all the years at the stadium, it will lead to people going where they belong. So maybe people down my section who don't really like to sing, don't prefer to sit down, will move away, and the opposite will come in, and hopefully we get a benefit like that. Everyone goes where they should be, and it will help the atmosphere because you'll have a stronger standing singing sections in pockets around the stadium that's going to lift the atmosphere. That's the hope, but you can always trust West Ham to make a mess of it. That's the thing. So we'll see. We'll have to see how it works in practice. It's interesting as well. We talk about the concessions. I see a post from Sean. I can't quote it on top of my head. I read it, and he's basically on behalf of the club pleading poverty because of the concessions have gone. It's going to cost us all these millions of pounds, and it's FFP and all of that. because the season ticket prices have been frozen, because the concessions have gone, even though the maths have been done and worked out that the concessions was only like a few million a year, not enough to significantly impact transfers to say, well, because and this is the thing, and I tried to give Sean the benefit of the doubt, Sean Whetstone, Clarendon. I try and give him the benefit of the doubt as much as possible. I don't slag him off online, I don't attack him. But when you're posting that and it's blatant PR, and then people are replying to you with evidence and actual challenges, and he's just replying with silly gifs, you purport to be a journalist, you have to take a look at yourself, because you're just a propaganda merchant at that point. You're just putting out the company line of, we're broke, we don't expect much because we gave you what you wanted. You didn't want concessions, so now you have to deal with the consequences of less money spent in the window. That is where he lets himself down massively, and he brings all the hate onto himself. He's got to do better than that.
He sells his soul. Let's be honest, he does it, and he's been doing it for years. And listen, I ain't got much issue with Sean. I really haven't. You know what I mean? Like, I've met Sean in person, but I do have an issue with the way he stirs the pot and the way he reports. And and listen, he's got his own agendas. He's got his own reasons that he does it, and he's got his own contacts, and it's up to him. Everyone's got their own, their own opinion, and they can all make their own decisions. But it's not good, to distance yourself from the everyday normal consumer. Like, we do not sell our soul. Yeah, we never have. We don't have anything to do with the club. In fact, we've been challenged by the club a few times. We've been invited to things for the club, and there's chances we've had, to contact the club, but we refuse it because we feel like, as a fan channel, it would be wrong to sort of lay in bed with the club at times and get information. I'm not interested in information. I'm interested in opinion. And I think that's where, a lot of people get tempted. I know other channels, I won't name them, but I know other channels that have been tempted by the offerings of the club and what the club can offer you and what they can do for you. It's not good to just be the mouthpiece, and you're just going to end up, because me and Ryan know that the club will turn your back on you as soon as they're finished with you. They will turn. They've asked us for things, and we've helped them with things, and and as soon as they're finished with you, they'll turn your back on you. As soon as they're finished with you, they'll just dismiss you. If they don't see you as an asset, as anything of value, they will dump you. And then
let me quickly read the post, the actual post, and then Ryan, you come in and give me your thoughts on this. But I thought it'd be good for me actually to read this so people can get the full context. So this is what he posted, Sean. He said, West Ham surprise season ticket price freeze and U-turn on concessions policy last week has cost the club millions in potential revenue. But the Hammers board thought it was the right thing to do despite financial challenges ahead. A club source said that the decision cost the club a few million in lost revenue at the time when our club finances are in a mess, but they thought it was the right thing to do. They added losses this season and next season will be huge, circa 75/80 million. Even if we spend zero this summer, other than Tadibo, which is £33 million. The huge spend on players over the last 2 years has caught up with us, combined with no Europe, low ladder merit payments, and less TV games than usual. Under FFP rules, even injecting capital doesn't help. And shout out to Gansil Hammer, who replied, who's quite knowledgeable on a lot of this stuff, has sent me some info, says that the concessions has cost West Ham, by their own admissions, well under £1 million. The price increase may be a bit more than £2 million. Absolute peanuts in the grand scheme of things. And this is where Sean replied with a funny gif saying you can have your cake and eat it too. Very silly. So, we've lost Nicky, right? What are your thoughts?
Especially with when you think that they're paying Danny Ings, and then they're moaning over that. I mean, what they've done, they knew they was wrong. They thought they was going to get.
I'll get to your super chat in a bit, Josiah. Don't worry, we won't miss it. We are getting back to it, just so Josiah knows.
Yeah, they thought they was going to get away with it, but Hammers United obviously were brilliant throughout the process of reversing the decision, and now the club are trying to look like the heroes when they should never have made that decision in the first place. You know, there's a lot of. It's not only West Ham. There's a lot of clubs that do it. I mean, I watched the overlap, and I was listening to Gary Neville talk the other day about Man United and the way they're starting to treat their staff and taking things away from them. And football's just getting greedy now. They don't care about the working class anymore. They don't care about people that have been loyal to the club for so long, people that have worked for the clubs. And as I said, I think Everton done it. I think a lot of football clubs are starting to do it to their fans. And at the end of the day, loyal fans are going to get so pissed off they're just not going to go anymore, and then these stadiums are going to be half empty because the day trippers will come and go, but they're not going to go week in, week out. Away fans will always be sold out because the away fans. We've got some of the best away fans in the country, but home games. You go to London Stadium, mate. It's dead. It's dead. I've been watching it on the telly all season. It's dead. Don't hear no atmosphere. You have little chorus of bubbles at the beginning. And then you hear people trying to start chants, but I just think football's changed, and it's changed it's sad to see how much it has changed, especially over the last 5 years. And yeah, I think what they've done with the concessions was ridiculous. Like the older generation that have been supporting the club for 50, 60 years get stuck right at the top. Yeah, you got to walk up fucking 500 flights of stairs just to get to watch a game, and then the future generations are getting priced out. But look, they've changed it now. It's back, so yeah, it's just about moving forward. But I don't really take notice a lot what a lot of people say on Twitter and social media. As Nicky said, there's a lot of people that get in bed with a club, but when the club need to change the bed sheets and they kick you out, they don't want to fucking know you no more. So that's that's my opinion on it.
And what they're missing on this FFP PSR stuff, obviously the Man City case is huge because they won a case against the Premier League saying that the rules on spending on club sponsorships and that were illegal, which should open up the door for clubs like Newcastle, like Man City, and everyone to inject more cash, which means we can also do that if those rules become a lot more lenient. So again, it's Sean towing the company line, and it just sounds like a load of bollocks.
It's they took it away, right? I've done a piece on it at the beginning of the season, very beginning of the season. Everyone might be doing it, but it takes it takes thought and it takes care to make sure that your fans are looked after, right? And I don't think there's a club that gets into the Premier League that really, really, truly, deep down cares about what their fans think. They don't. They can't. Because every year, another club take away. I think what Hammers United have done, and I will tip my hat to them, because I've done that piece with them at the beginning of the season, and I've been going every game this season. Every game, they are there protesting. They've got them black balloons out and all that. The club have been embarrassed into changing their minds. They really have. They've been embarrassed because these people highlighting it week in, week out, and it gets to a point where they think, oh Jesus Christ, like just give them what they want. It's less than £80 million. I don't know where that figure has come from, because we worked it out at the beginning of the season. If you look at the piece I've done at the beginning of the season, it worked out to less than £1 million. It was, I don't even think it was £500,000. So where he's come from, and so all it is positive PR from the club. It's like, look, it's going to cost us this and it's going to cost us that. But, we've changed. It's just trying to spin an embarrassment into a win for them, right? Yeah. But what they don't...
Because the thing is, Nick, if they do go and splash money, they look like the heroes.
Of course,
they manage to lower expectations.
The reason that they're doing this, and they're all doing it, right? All the club, they're greedy people that are squeezing everything they can out of it. Because you go over to Germany, right? And I've been over to Germany a couple of times, and everything there is modestly priced. It's priced to benefit the loyal fan. Yeah. Every year in the Premier League, and this goes for every club, not just West Ham. Yeah. They just exploit your loyalty. They exploit it, and they say, charging more, charging more, charging more. More for this, more for that. They make things bigger, better for themselves. They don't think about you. They don't care if you go anymore. Let's be honest. They don't care if the loyal fan goes anymore. As we've talked about the last few weeks, it's going towards more of a tourist and a business. Yeah. So when you look over at Germany, you've got some of the biggest clubs in the world over there. I mean, the other day, I think, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, Champions League winners that have won it recently, they charge their fans 100 quid a season to go to watch their football club. So how can they do it? And then all of a sudden they expect us to believe that they can't, because our league's meant to be the best in the world. We get the most for TV rights, we get the most balance, we get the most viewership, we get the most. So why do they have to? They can charge for what? I read this once, right? They could make, they could give it away at free tickets every season, right? And the price that China pay for the rights to the Premier League would cover it all. That's just China, yeah. So them tickets, in like retrospect, mean nothing. I mean, I know you got financial fair, but there's other ways to find. You see 1 million sponsors on that screen every week. Every week, there's 1 million sponsors, people that you don't even hear of. There's other ways of making that money. There's other ways. Ask Betway for a couple of million quid. It ain't going to affect them as much as it's going to affect us, but they won't, because every time that they can see that they can exploit the loyalty of loyal fans, and we carry on doing it, because it's not like we can go, me and you, we're not going to turn around and go, I don't want to go West Ham anymore. I might go to Leighton Orient. It's cheaper. No, we are committed, loyally committed, and we're fierce in our passion for the clubs. They exploit it, and it's disgusting. And to be honest with you, it's going to take like legal things to come in and stop it, because they won't stop it. They won't
legal
stop
things
it.
like laws. You mean, Nick? Like laws, those sort of legal things.
Like things passed in Parliament. It's going to take it, because it's becoming ridiculous. And every time that they see an opportunity, they take it. But when they have to take it back, then they start to spin it, because the everyday fan that thinks, well, if we lose the concessions and all that, it doesn't affect me, but it might affect our, when they're putting out stories like, we lose 80 million quid, so if we can't buy the striker that we want this season, it's down to us. It's down to them, the people who don't want to pay them. Like, people get the arsehole about it and then, give them a little bit more leeway. But the truth is, it's just greed. And they're stopping greed.
We're going to save millions on wages just from the players that are out of contract this season in the summer, right? I don't want to hear anything, excuses. Potter has to be backed. He has to be back. After we chucked all that fucking money at that manager that Sullivan wanted, Lopetegui, his pick that flopped after giving 150 million. If they go now in this new process with Potter and they don't back him, that's an absolute travesty. It's criminal if they don't. So I don't want to hear all of this crap about, oh, we can't afford it because we brought concessions back. Bollocks. So whatever, or they can put all the PR they want. I'll judge them by their actions come end of the transfer window, and I don't want to hear no excuses.
If they genuinely thought, right, that they were doing the right thing by the fan every time they made the decision, and if I genuinely thought that they said 80 million quid, we're going to give it back to you because we've made a mistake, and I genuinely thought they meant it, I would accept them getting relegated. I would. But I don't think it's true, Dan. And no, actually, not I don't think it's true. It's not true. It's not true. They're talking bollocks, and they can compete and they can find the money elsewhere. And yeah, they're just trying to make themselves look, get a positive out of a negative. And I think, to be honest with you, and I know Nick Tucker's in the chat, I'm sick of the Premier League. I'm sick of the whole thing, to be honest with you. VAR and controversies and all that sort of thing. It's just
like obviously people know that I didn't renew my season ticket this year. I've been a couple of games. I haven't missed it. I've not missed it. One of the main reasons for me giving up was because it felt like a chore going over there. I weren't enjoying it. So I thought I was going to miss it a lot more. But listen, I prefer watching it at home now. don't. Even a couple of times I've been this season, I thought to myself, yeah, do you know what? I might, because I ain't been for ages, I might enjoy it. No, it weren't even about the result on the pitch, because I went to Arsenal at home and Chelsea at home. We got battered in both games. But even the build-up, it's just different around there now. It's just not the same. And there's a lot. I know I spoke to a lot of people that are not renewing. I know I spoke to Nick, and I know he's thinking about not renewing. There's other people I know that ain't renewing. And they're loyal fans that have been going for so many years, home and away. And when they're getting fed up, it's just. But I think that's up and down the country. It's what you said, mate. Football is not the same anymore. It's not the same game. You know, you look at like the game in like when we grew up. It was a totally different game to what it is now, and it's a shame. It's a shame that this is the way you feel about football. I love West Ham. You can see by my room. My loyalty to the club that I've been going. Speak about West Ham every day. There's not a day I don't talk about West Ham. But, yeah, it's just a shame that it's got to that point now where I just think, you know what, I'd fucking rather watch it at home than go and sit over there in that soulless stadium. It's had its moments. There's been some great nights over there, especially the European nights. Seville is one of the greatest atmospheres I've ever been involved in. But to get, what's that, one or... say 5 in 8 years? It's not good enough. It's shit.
No. Let me read this super chat for Josiah. It's been on for a while because we've had it for a while. £5 super chat. Thank you once again, Josiah. He said, "Sorry, I didn't get it. The follow, mate. I made a new one last week, Friday. Sorry, guys. Apologies. My new handle, Josiah Moth WHU. I really apologize." So he's not got.
So we all followed him, but he's got a new account, so we've got to follow him again. So.
We'll do it. He's got a new one. For God's sake, Josiah, will tweet us on this account if we haven't followed it. But there you go. Thank you, Josiah. To your point, Nick. Where was Nick's one? I did highlight Nick's one. He says, "Renew or not, this is the dilemma I now have. My Shah has had a season ticket since the 80s. And we are close from walking. And Nick's and Charlotte in front of me in my section.
I've spoke to Nick about this on the phone plenty of times, and it's a hard one because like you want to give up, but you don't because you feel like because you're so used to doing it. But I just had to make that decision, and even when like I thought I was going to get to renewal deadline day, and I was just going to go, "Oh, do you know what? Fuck it, I'll just do it." But I think it's one of the best things I've fucking done. But I never thought I'd say that.
You do know it's bad when people like Nick are thinking on Nick has been a season ticket holder for as long as I've known it. Well, we've known him since the Boleyn day, so we've been doing this 10 years. So I've known Nick say 10 years, and he lived in Burnley, and he travelled from Burnley for every home game and away, but every home game he used to come down from Burnley to watch West Ham. Now he lives in London and he's thinking about giving it up.
Hang on. He doesn't live in London, mate. He lives in Kent.
Sorry, Kent. Sorry,
he lives in the south side.
Millwall.
That's what I was saying to Nick the other day because he's in my set. I said, "I see you less now. You've moved down south than when you lived in Burnley." And half of it is just because, honestly, I've had a lot of people like. We got our season ticket. When we got it, there were like 20 of us, right? All got it together. We brought people in. Like nearly most of them are no longer there now in that section. There's all new people, and the rest of the people that still are staying there for considering giving up their season tickets. So that's like 20 people that all been sitting together, came to the stadium together, gone. And then Nick, that's been in front of me since he moved from the posh seats with Scott. Another one. So it's so many cases like that all over the gap. So shout out to Nick on that, and obviously we won't be seeing him on Monday because it's a night game. 60s and 70s, says Borough fan, best time to watch footy. We will take your word for that, but I've seen some old games in retrospect, and late
90s for me. Late 90s.
I think it's all to say the game just flowed better, wasn't it? It was less robotic, meticulous, data driven. the way it is now, what they've turned it. A lot of people praised Wenger for what he'd done to the Premier League and changed it. When you look at it now, it's probably for the worse. It was better when they weren't super athletes in a way, really.
We went to, me and Nicky went to an event the other week, and I was lucky enough to sit down with Julian Dix and speak to him for ages, and we were talking about the modern day football. Julian Dix hates football, doesn't even watch it. He's a manager of
Dulwich Hamlet.
No, Haybridge Swifts, and he hates football. He's just got no enjoyment for it. But when we sat there talking about the 90s and when he played and that and how different it was, his attitude changed. He sat up. He was enjoying talking about it, and he said he like even nothing to do with the money. He would never swap his era for today's era. And I think if you speak to a lot of old football players, they'll say the same.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I said, you could go back and watch the games, and it just football. I was watching some games recently, and it just felt more direct. It felt more like the teams were trying to get the ball in the back of the net as quick as possible for the most part, and that's what it was like. It was just pass, bam, bam, bam.
I think, as you say, football's. I mean, I know. Look, I wanted to speak about this a little bit, just briefly touch on it. Like, even like the crowds and the way people watch football now. Look, I know I've got no love lost for Millwall. When they lose, I laugh. And vice versa. But they're our rivals. They're our long-time rivals. But they have got a rivalry with Crystal Palace. Another rivalry, like a fierce rivalry, South London rivalry. And I've got to say that obviously the goalkeeper's done what he's done. He's gone and got a 6-match ban today. And I listened to something on TalkSport the other day, and the uproar over the chant, and the chant was "Let him die." Right now, listen, people chant all sorts of different things at football, man. Like, people don't actually want the geezer to die. It's rivalry, it's banter, it's not banter, but it's like a way of showing your disdain for your rivals and all that. But the way that they went on about that chant, and the way, like, you would have thought they was chanting something else, something really bad. And I know this might be a bit controversial, but I'm all for that. You know what I mean? Like, you are playing fierce rivals, and that creates atmosphere. And it's meant to be hostile, and it's meant to be fierce, and it's meant to be spiteful and all that. It's meant to be like what's the word? Primitive, like primal, that sort of hatred and things like that. But let him die when he's been kicked in the head. We've all chanted it. In fact, I found a Crystal Palace album, a football chant album that has it on it, that Crystal Palace chanted themselves. Like, I think the game, for the normal working class primal fan is gone, man. Because if you're talking about like pulling up chants that they're not particularly offensive, listen, they're not nice, but they're not offensive, they're not what we've heard before, and that cause controversy these days. These are just normal football chants that everyone has chanted, and they're complaining about them and they're highlighting them. And I do think that sometimes, like, clubs like us and Millwall, I think we're in the same bracket. We get the bad rap because of our reputation. But, like, if you take that away from football and you allow people to sort of like win and sort of make it unchantable at football games, football's dead. Football's dead. Like, rivalries are dead. Things are dead. And I'm not one to stick up for Millwall, but I've got to say, like, the goalkeeper's just got a 6-match ban. I've seen worse, and they've got away with it. And I honestly think that the game's gone, and the game is never going to come back. And if you start taking away the core of the game, which is the interesting things, the game will die eventually. Because rivalries.
I remember this was levied at us a few seasons ago, because I remember having this debate against, it was a team we was playing against. I can't remember who the fuck it was, but they was whinging. This fan base were whinging that we was chanting "Let him die, let him die," and I was arguing with them. I was just like thinking, if you're the sort of fan that's crying and complaining over rival fans singing "Let him die," then you're the most pathetic wet wipe that I've ever seen. If it's one thing, if it's like, say, Christian Eriksen, when he had that thing in the World Cup or whatever it was, right, when he had that issue, and his life looked like it could potentially be in danger, and you're trying to let him die, that's one thing. When it's a tackle and a player's just down, let him die. It doesn't mean literally let him die. It means like just fucking leave him, like let him lay down there, like it's just like we don't give a shit about his injury. We don't give a shit that he's hurt because he's a rival player. It doesn't mean I want to see him die. He's like,
I don't think, chants are not to be taken literally. You know,
No.
like there's a lot. You look at chants that are chanted across the, like they're not literal. You know, no. If Mateta would have died, there would be no Millwall fan that would have turned around and went, "Yeah, well, that was the right thing," because he's nobody. Like it's just like it's. I don't know. You have to take these things with a pinch of salt. You know, you have to take these things with a pinch of salt. Like Arsene Wenger doesn't carry around sweets in his pocket. I won't go any further than that. But I'm just saying, like people will say anything to, to wind up the other fans. And listen, it's a primal territorial sport, you know, and there's rivalries that are fierce, you know, against things that are, sort of illegal or offensive. I don't find it like everybody's.
When we're saying stick your blue flag up your ass, we're not literally asking for Chelsea fans to actually put a flag and sodomize themselves with it. It's not literal. Like I said, it's all figurative.
It was a bad challenge. Of course, it was a bad challenge, but I have seen worse. I've seen worse.
Yeah, that happens. So it's it. Some people, mate, are just like I said, wet wipes. So there we go. But
should we take some more comments before we start finishing up? So, who do you think? Let's ask the audience. Who do you think won the five-a-side competition? Let's get some votes. Yeah.
If you remember, and those that can see it, let's get it's me, Scott, Nicky, or Ryan. Who would be your captain of your team?
Mine?
Yes.
I think King George VI. How can you have a better captain than the King?
Yeah. I would.
Chant Norris. Chant Norris would be my captain.
Yeah, my really crap, but I guess KSI because he's like technically the most famous. But he's an Arsenal fan, though.
Speaking of they've got that big charity match at Wembley tomorrow, isn't they? 90,000 sellout. The Cybermen versus the other YouTubers. But they've got Logan Paul playing for them. There's just some big names in it. They sold out Wembley in like 45 minutes.
Yeah, because people just that they're fans. It's just people that are fans of them. They've got millions and millions of followers.
Crazy that Bazinga plays in a 90,000 seater stadium at Wembley, but Nicky didn't even put him in the fucking Thames Ironworks team.
It wasn't me. I wasn't a manager, but you have to take that out with Scott.
Well, you was the recruiter. You recruited at the start when we done the trials.
Yeah.
It was your say so.
Listen,
you'll never make it in this town, in this sport, kid.
What they do is amazing, and to get that sort of like sort of audience, 90,000, but they didn't ask me to play. You know what I mean? So,
well, there you go.
You never sold it in 30. Especially Ryan, he's a baller, mate.
Ryan's pretty much unanimously won this five-a-side. A couple of shots from Nicky, Ryan, Norris is the big hitter. Ryan, it's his birthday Monday.
You know what? The mad thing is I can sort of, when Nicky said it, I automatically thought of Sharon Stone and Chuck Norris because I knew they shared my birthday because about 2010 it was. So 15 years ago, I was on Heart Breakfast Radio on my birthday, and it was when Jamie Theakston used to do a thing, and you had to guess who was older. So they'd give you the list of celebrities born on your birthday, and you had to say whether they was older or younger. And I won a cake and a VIP trip on the London Eye, which was good. The cake turned up the next day. It was squashed, and it had a picture of Jamie Theakston and Emma Bunton on it. I love it.
You know what? I only knew KSI was on my birthday because every time it's my birthday, everyone's just tweeting happy birthday to KSI, and I'm forgotten about, and it's all about KSI on my birthday. So that's every year.
I'm looking forward to. I'm going tomorrow. I'm going up London for the annual birthday meal and a theatre show, and I'm going to see MJ the musical tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
Been waiting to see that for a long time. So
well, tickets on sale. Speaking of your birthday, right? I've got something lined up. I think that you're gonna love. We should get these tickets in. We should all go. An evening with Katie Price and Kerry Katona. Tickets on sale today.
You know what? Right, this is random. Kerry Katona actually follows me on Twitter, and she has for about 5 years. I don't even know why.
She's not even West African Scouser, isn't she?
But do you want me to DM her and see if we can get some free tickets for that?
Oh yeah, that's it. That'd be a night. Maybe we'll do a little, make some content, get some vlogs, interview them for the channel. Everything.
Some of the things on Twitter. There was a geezer. Was it Ashley Cole that blocked you for no reason?
Ashley Cole's blocked me for. I don't even know why. I've never had interactions with Ashley Cole in my life. But
just blocked me.
But yeah, Twitter's a funny, or X, whatever it's called now. It's a funny world. But
yeah, it is. Well, see if you can score us some tickets.
Sorry, I got followed randomly by the YouTuber Boogie2988.
Oh God, he's a wrong one, isn't he? Apparently, he's supposed to be a right wrong. So he's that's the maybe he's seen a kindred spirit in you, Nick. I would worry about that. I'd be very
popular. I was just thinking, like, well, how has he seen me? You know, why is he reading my shit?
He pretended to have cancer and everything, like
yeah,
absolutely madness. Bloody Sharky's really got it in for me today. He's giving me all the bloody jabs I've noticed in the chat. This is on my birthday, but yeah. So we'll keep you all updated on our adventures of evening with Katie Price and Kerry Katona. Maybe she'll got to have a good Iceland buffet out. Hopefully, that'd be a good one. And some rosé.
Yeah, you don't want to see her prawn ring, Dan. Believe me.
Yeah.
Oh bloody hell! But yes, and we wish Scott a speedy recovery. He's unwell. What a weakling, eh? When I was unwell, I did a watch along.
To be fair, I
spoke
to him earlier, and he couldn't even have a conversation without coughing. So it's shit. But
I did a full watch along for the Chelsea game, and people remember that, and I soldiered through.
Do you know what?
And I think I did Friday night pint as well.
I haven't been this shattered for ages. Like, I've been starting to go sort of back to the gym. I've been trying my hardest. I've been doing boxing as well, and I was up at 5 o'clock this morning in the gym, and like when you have to go work straight after, it's like shattered me. But I've got boxing again in the morning, so I'm looking forward to that before I enjoy my few cocktails and meal tomorrow. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm ready for bed. I've had a couple of drinks. Yeah, I'm ready for bed now.
Yes. I've been bloody travelled a long way to get here. So yeah, we're all knackered. We're all going to get a good night's sleep. Have a good weekend, everyone.
No football till Monday
this weekend.
Oh yeah,
but not for us. But there are other games on this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Back. Premier League's back in action. So listen, we appreciate every single one of you, and thank you all for watching. One thing left to say. Come on, you
Ryan. Come on.